Hey, it's your favorite T from the streets. Get ready with me while I give my thoughts on Love Through a Prism. I really enjoyed Love Through a Prism. Outside of my issues with the sub and dub, I'm gonna grow up and start watching more subs. Okay, we've learned. I just feel like this show did a really good job at showing someone who was intentional about fulfilling their passion and their, desires. But then also showing someone who had an obligation not only to his family but to his country in the character of Kit. And we see with Kit's struggle with being able to hold on to his passion, which is really had a part of him, part of his DNA. And then Lily, who has come from a background where it's being forced upon her as well to follow out her family thing, you know what I mean? But she's pushing to hold on to her passion. So I've really enjoyed that dynamic. They both were going through the same thing at the same time, but Lily had an inability to understand where Kit was coming from. Is it just me? And it's so funny. I feel like all around in the show, to a degree, it took a lot for everyone to understand each other. Kit's brother understanding him, Kit understanding his brother. And I think that one unspoken fact about Kit's brother is that he felt so much pressure to perform because his brother didn't. And because his brother didn't, he knew that he would have to take on most of the responsibility. And that pressure was really, really difficult. Being an aristocrat, being someone who was working the foreign relations like his dad and his brother's dad was, it just made the responsibility seem like a whole mountain. And then his brother knowing that his dad was ill, I think that, yes, was he hard on his brother? Sure. But I think it was partially just out of that understanding that if you don't step up, it's just going to be me by myself. And, dang, I got to do this. But I just love the beauty of the artistry that, was shown on the show. And I just love the passion that everyone had. I love seeing the sculpture work that Shin did and bringing that form of artistry to light. That was really, really beautiful. And I also like to see the character development of each character. Specifically, Catherine's character. Why do I have conceal on me? I love Catherine's character growth in this, her realizing that, she was just following what everybody told her and that she really didn't know what her passion was. And it took, her thinking that she was bullying. Really, she probably didn't see it that way, but putting this girl in her place, Lily, when really she turned out, oh my goodness, she figured out who she was and what she wanted to accomplish in her life, And I felt like she was very brave to be able to come to the decision to say, hey, I'm not doing what you want me to do just because you want me to do it. I'm going to be what I want to be, what, I have a desire to live out. Yeah, I love Pete's character showing the struggle that he had, feeling like, Kit was just advancing with this natural talent, whereas everyone else, had to work so hard and struggle. And, learning that Kit, was going through the same things. He just expressed it differently. Just beautiful. Now, I will say that artistry storyline I loved so much, but the love storyline, it was beautiful, but it was hard. And I think it was just because, I expressed in another video about being empathetic. I just didn't understand how it was so difficult for Lily to kind of understand what was going on with Kit. Because I'm like, how do you go to this man's house, see his father, meet his father being sick and ill? And then also, I thought it would be in the news or something, but I felt like Lily was just kind of stuck in her own world, as far as working hard for, their presentation coming up. So she really didn't, lock into what was going on in the world around her. But I'm like, you just met this man's father and you saw he was ill. And then, Kit starts acting weird again. The first time he was acting weird, he was sick. The second time, why wouldn't you think something is wrong? You know what I'm saying? And so I just thought it was just really hard for Lily because she was so trying to push for her passion and she was working so hard to accomplish what she felt her passion and her vision was for her life, that she couldn't see why Kit was the way that he was. You know what I mean? And he left behind the vision of her parents that they had for her, but with Kit, if he did that, it was going to affect the whole nation. If Kit decided to, go off and be a painter, his brother would have to carry, foreign affairs on his own. And he saw, what was going on with his brother and how he was like getting ill just with the planning of the father's, funeral, in addition to getting ready for this upcoming war, There was a lot to unpack there. And then Shin's unrequited love. Oh my gosh, I felt so bad for Shin because he had feelings, but he just was willing to let Lily live her life and do what she felt was best for her. And he didn't want to pressure her into anything, even by his confession. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, just such a good side character. I wanted him to get everything that he deserved. I loved Dorothy's character, a little bit aloof, but also inviting Lily and everything. She was so sweet and fun, and her family was fun. I loved that character. And yeah, all of the cast just they brought something beautiful to the table, and I enjoyed it. It's just so hard. I feel like I'm talking a lot, but like, to me, there was just so many layers to this show, and it was really good. And I'm heavily focused on Lily and Kit's relationship, but it just was very impactful for me. And also just certain things that they said, I'm like, yes. Specifically when Lily said, I always felt like I was one step behind Kit, but she was one step behind Kit, not so much in, just the art necessarily. Might have been the art too, and letting herself go and just feeling. She was one step behind in that she had to learn how to do that, right? But it was also in being real about, her feelings as well, and not allowing her frustration, with what is going on to decide how she expresses herself. You know what I mean? And I think this is what comes through with the art as well. Like pressure to perform, and then you do good, but are you doing your absolute best? You know what I'm saying? And pressure to, say the right thing in that moment, and then also frustration, but it doesn't allow you to see the whole picture. You know what I'm saying? Like for instance, Kit's ability to see what he saw when it comes to the sky, he had perspective. And I think that's one thing that Lily had to gain. She had to gain perspective. You know what I'm saying? And it took time. It took so much time. And that's how she was behind with Kit in her dealings with Kit. So I was like, oh, this is so good. Side note, I love how Lily came up with a way to honor her family's business and their heritage by partnering with Catherine to create kimonos in Europe. I thought that was beautiful representation. And also it allowed her to use her creativity, and then also she still was able to be the artist that she wanted to be. I just thought that was beautiful that she considered that. So yep, this is the finished look. But you guys, let me know what your thoughts on Love Through a Prism was. My man's went through being in the daggone jungle by himself, and she still couldn't tell him she loved him. I'm sorry. Anyways, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'll see y'all next time. And let me know if you like me having my chats about anime. I know this was so long. I probably have to speed it up. But I'll see y'all next time. Bye.